Evidence of progress, managing the gap or the delta between where you're supposed to be 6 weeks into the quarter and where you actually are. And finally, stakeholder satisfaction. So, evidence of progress, managing the delta, the gap, and then evidence of satisfaction. These are the three words I want to use to lead the session today. The executive diary. We are in week 6. Yeah, we already halfway through the quarter, and I feel like opening by asking you, how are you doing? What story of progress are you telling? What progress with evidence are you reporting to your stakeholders? Hey, I'm Judy Glory, and it is a joy to be able to come to you in this week 6 of the Executive Diary. And it will be all about progress reporting with evidence. How? Here are some questions we'll be answering in today's video. How do you report that progress? How do you ensure satisfaction of your stakeholders? And this one, I'm getting it a lot in my coaching sessions these days. Ouch, how do you manage if you are behind your numbers? You can still report progress even if you are behind. How do you do that? Keep watching, because before the end of the video, you discover ways for you to, report progress even if you are behind. If it's your first time coming here, I feel like say welcome. You're so glad to have you in this edition of the Executive Protocol, Executive Diary, which is a time that we stop and learn along those who are in the executive protocol, a program where we guarantee progress every 90 days, a progress backup with evidence. We help you as an executive to demonstrate and communicate progress every 90 days. That's executive protocol. And in the executive diary, we share the learning, the key insights, but we also share the stories of those who are in the protocol. So if it's your first time here, make yourself comfortable, get some tea or some coffee. I am a coffee person, and sit comfortable, because before you finish watching this video, before the end, you will learn how to communicate progress. What are some key things that you can use to demonstrate to your stakeholder, to people you report to, that you're making progress with your quarterly goals? How to report the progress, and if there's a gap, how do you handle the gap? How do you even communicate that you're behind? And some strategies to keep the stakeholders satisfied. And you will hear some updates of the people, more storytelling of real people going through the protocol, how they are doing it. So let's dive right in with the first point. We'll be talking about what progress. As I was saying, we're 6 weeks now. In about 6 weeks, you will have to report how Q1 was for you. And whether you're watching this for the first time or you are a regular, just 6 weeks to go. How is that story of progress progressing for you? How are things for you? What story of progress can you show? And I want to use the word show. What data, what evidence, what numbers do you have clearly saying you are making progress? You are on target. What are the specific things? And I want to share with you 5 ways you can report progress on your assignments. For those who have been following the protocol, you know that from the one in the executive protocol, we learn to talk about numbers. It is essential if you are an executive responsible of a high stakes, you know that you need to report on numbers, because the board, the people you report to, they don't want a Word document, they don't want a novel, they want evidence, they want data. So on week 1 in the executive administrative protocol, you learn to tie your assignment. You're selling insurance, you're selling, whether you're selling something or you're picking, I don't know, support. You are in the back office, as they used to call it. Oh, Judith, I'm just a support function. Even if you are a support function, your support allows the organization to save or make how much money. So it is essential when you can create that link between what you are doing and the evidence of, to be able to report on that money, how far, how many tickets, how many services, how many widgets, how many, I don't know, insurance have you treated. It is essential to know your numbers. It is essential 6 weeks into this to be able to report how far, how much progress. So I started this video by asking you, 6 weeks, halfway through the journey, are your numbers great? And one question I got from someone in the protocol is, Judith, is there something that I can report besides the number, besides the dollar amount? Yes. And that's why I said before the end of the video, you will learn 5 ways to report progress. Even if it's not the money, even if it's not you cannot talk about how much money the widget or the app you're developing will create. There are 5 other ways that you can use to report progress. Judith, where are your slides? Disappear and show the slides, please. Yes. So we want to report with evidence. We want to show some numbers, real things. You're not making, we'll talk some more about that in a couple minutes. How can you report without walking your numbers, real numbers? So I think I already asked you this question. There are 5 ways. Yes, this is the slide I was looking for. There are 5 ways you can report on the progress, on how far you're doing with the goal you have for the quarter. Well, in week 1, we talk of the importance of the money. Make the dollar amount, make the link. It's important, it's essential, because with no money, there's no business. With no money, there's no salary. With no money, there's no business. But besides the money, you can report on the progress with people. So I said 5 things: money, people, processes, time, tools. These are just the 5, and you could find more ways. So let's elaborate more. Besides the money that you're generating by selling, by supporting, by protecting, you can make a report on the progress with people. What has happened with your team? Has your team grown? Have some people developed? Has some people gotten promoted? That's also a number that can show progress. You have a bigger team. You have people with more certification. You have people who are trained. In a lot of organizations, as Q1 is slow, they will use Q1 for training. How many people are trained? I don't know, on the security, on the ethics, or that's a data that you can use to show there's been progress. And it is true. You're not walking the numbers because when you started the year, you didn't have that many people, or you didn't have all that people who had gone through the training. So people and everything related to people, it's another category you can use to demonstrate progress. I also mentioned something about processes, ways of working. Have you documented processes? Have you documented new ways of working? Have you documented a new way that you are going to be using AI to work better? If you have done this 1, 2, 3 processes that didn't exist before, if you collaborated with other teams to put in place these processes, it's 1, 2, 3 processes that didn't exist before. That's another thing you can use to report progress. Money, people, processes, time. Have you been able, with what you and your team did, to save time to the organization? And this is a place where a lot of organizations are thinking, looking, and using AI to gain time. If you've done that with your team, reporting on how much time you were able to save, it's great, because again, you're demonstrating that you are helping the organization save time. If you're watching this and you're having a problem with what is being displayed, can you please send a little comment? Because I just received a comment saying something like, that the display is not okay. If you are also watching this and you feel like the display is not okay, please just let me know so that I don't keep recording something that is not useful. Yeah, I'm on this platform. I think I can see more comment, but someone just texted, "Oh, Judith, watch out the display." If you're watching this, please let me know. I would really appreciate that. So, I was saying 5 ways. We talk money, we talk people, progress with people, their training, we talk saving time. There's also another category, like tools. Have you put some tools in place? Um, if you have created some new tool, an Excel sheet, um, an easy tool that people can use to do their work faster and better. That's another thing that you can use to report progress. You have created a tool that didn't exist before. Now we have a tool. So these are 5 ways that you can use to communicate that we are making progress towards the goal. So if you're watching this and you feel like, not sure, Judith, my numbers are not where they're supposed to be, my invitation for you, my call is just look at these 5 things. Besides, money is essential. I am not downgrading the importance. It is essential. Maybe I'll close all pages and look you in the eyes again and say, if there's no money, there's no business. If there's no money, there's no business. So money is essential. How much money are you making, saving to the organization? It's essential. But besides the money, there are other ways for you to report the progress. What is happening with your people? The number of people, the training, the certification. So you can get some key points on the people portion to report the progress. Have you put in place new processes? Look at this, and I hope it inspire you, make you see other ways that you can report on the progress you have created in your team, in your organization since the beginning of the year. And when we were discussing this in the protocol, someone asked me, "What, Judith, what if I can see some progress, but the progress is not tied to the goal of my team? What do I do with that?" We'll come back to that question. It is still meaningful progress. It is something that can be leveraged. So if you can just hold on what you notice, keep it somewhere, and before the end of the call, I'll share with you one thing you can do with that insight, because even though it is not tied to the focus of the quarter, how can it be leveraged? What insight is emerging from that progress, from that delta? Yeah, did I say delta? Yes. When we talk about progress, we want to report that when we started the year, we were here, and 6 weeks into it, we are here. When we started the year in January, we were here. In March, we want to tell a story to the board, to stakeholder, to our SLT. We are in point B. So it is essential for you to be able to recognize and communicate the delta, the variation, the progress to key stakeholders. It also allows you to get their feedback to ensure you're making progress towards the direction, what matters most to them. I talked about this last time and I will stress on that again. It's essential to keep them in the loop, because you make progress, you check, we align. Yeah, I want to see more of this. If you want at the end of the quarter, when you do that presentation, for them to say, "Well done, good job," it is essential to keep aligned to ensure as you're making progress, they actually want you to go this way and not that way. And for you to ensure sure it lands well. The more you keep close to them, the more you inform, the more you communicate on the progress, the more feedback you will get, and you can adjust. And that's why a lot of organization, IT organization, they embrace the agile approach of working, because you don't start a project and you wait after a year, 18 months to realize you've thrown a lot of millions and it's not exactly the direction you wanted to go. It's a great way of working. That's why sprint, working, deliver, ask for feedback and adjust. It saves money, allows you to keep the stakeholder involved, and it gives you feedback so you can adjust. Another example I like to take is, if you keep working on something just to be told at the end of the year, wow, you were busy, but you're not quite there yet. Do you know the frustration when you feel like, I've seen that many times in coaching calls? Can you imagine, Judith? I worked extra hours just for them to give me this rating. Nobody told me mid-year that I was not performing at the required level. I don't want this to be you. I don't want them to tell you at the end of Q1 that you didn't hit it. That's why right now I want to ask you, what do you have as a plan to communicate to the key stakeholders the progress you're making with your assignment, with your goal? If you've been watching the video, in week 1, we help you identify the key stakeholders. Go on the channel Executive Diary Week 1. You'll find the key questions you need to ask. Who are the stakeholders, and what cadence, what ceremony, what plan do you have to keep them informed of the progress? If you have a plan, well done. So did you communicate with them the progress after month 1, which is like 2 weeks ago? If you did, well done. Then the question is, what did they say? It's good to hear from them, not just push information, but what did they say? What question did they ask? And what are you doing today in week 6 to show you heard their feedback? That's how you will co-create that success story at the end of Q1. Please don't wait till week 12 to just go and surprise your stakeholders with your report. You can get their input today, and it's my invitation. Go and test it out and see by yourself. As you keep them involved, you tweak, you tune to ensure that that final Q1 report really aligns with what they are after. So that was point number 2 I wanted to share with you today on the Executive Diary Week 2. It's really another point. Yeah, before closing, I'm glad the slides open. When you report to them, sometimes I see that a lot when working with my leaders. Sometimes people will say, well, Judith, keep it going. My manager, they don't talk much. They just keep saying, keep the good work, keep the good work. And I'm not sure precisely. So what do you do? Ask. These managers, these leaders, or this important stakeholder to whom you give feedback and they say, oh, just keep it going. Express your gratitude for the feedback. Then courageously ask them, what is it for? Keep it what? The work with the team, the number, the momentum, what? When you're clear on what they like, you can double down, you can do more of that. And that's the value of getting clear, asking feedback, and helping them to clarify. It is essential because when you ask them, their answer lets you know what they value. So you can keep bringing that up. And when they give you the feedback, oh, keep the momentum, keep the numbers, don't stop there. What else? The more you get from the key stakeholder, we want to see this. We want to see more of this. You know precisely what they are after. and you can communicate on that. So if you presented your report to the key stakeholder week 4 and they say, good job, keep it going, and they clarify it's the momentum, it's the number, it's the development of the team. These are 3 things. How can you report on that? What would you do so that by the end of month 2, you can continue to report on what they say, the people, the numbers, the momentum? Being clear, you can be more precise in your reporting. It's another point I wanted to make, because so many people come to coaching, well, they just keep giving a global, they don't give specific feedback. Now you know some of the questions you can offer to get specific. Thank you for the feedback. Keep what exactly going, boss or board. And when they answer, what else? So just 2 questions can help you get clear on what precisely they want and what else. Jot down, and then you would include that in your reporting. So I'm asked to accelerate because time is passing, and I have this important thing I wanted to take some time to share, which is managing the gap. Someone said in the cohort, what happens? It's so easy today to report when the team is making progress, when, yeah, we are running towards what we had planned to do this month. So, I don't feel comfortable reporting to my SLT because the numbers, we are behind, and I'm even afraid, should it, because if things continue this way, this quarter may not be a success. The leader I was coaching, when they were reporting this, and for the few minutes that followed this statement, they were like, yeah, things are just gonna get worse because this and this is happening, and I feel like I would have not a successful quarter. Hey, pause. If this is you, you're watching this and you feel like, oh, yeah, we are going towards the end of February, and I think it's also my situation. Hold your head up high. Please don't give up on the quarter yet. Please pause here. Yes, the numbers are not there. What is still possible? What is still possible? You remember the 5 things? Even if the dollar amount is not gonna be what it was supposed to be, what else can you report on? Don't give up yet on the quarter. What is still possible? And as you will see in the 2 case studies that I want to share right now, uh, there is ways for you to continue to report progress. I'll start by talking about someone for whom it was clear that they were not going to hit their numbers. You know, in these organizations, when there are situations unplanned, someone on your team, you didn't know, you didn't see it coming, but there's a mat leave that you're just being made aware of. And sometimes it's not just 1 or 2 things, one mat leave, and then maybe a sick leave, and then you just lost 2 people on your manpower, and you still have to deliver. I don't know, treat the number of insurance claim you treat, do the number of calls, and push forward with the deliverable. You know, this happened. I'm a woman, I've given birth to kids, so I know it's life and it happens. As a leader leading this team, how do you keep things going positive and reporting progress? Strategy number 1, you can use, as I shared at the beginning of the call, the 5 other things. Besides the number, what progress can you show? And point number 2, I think it should even be point number 1, don't hide the reality. Because a lot of times, as you said, as we will see in the case, she was like, I don't feel comfortable reporting to the SLT. Will you not report to your leadership team because the numbers are not great? A lot of times people will walk the numbers or hide. My recommendation is don't hide. Communicate the real thing. What is a game changer here is with the communication of what is not working, what is your plan? And should I stop talking? Share the slide. But it is essential to keep it real. Communicate, don't hide. Communicate the real numbers, the game changer, the thing that makes the difference, that will make you stand out, and that will create trust between the SLT and you. Is keeping it real, but having a plan to switch things over. Why does it work? Because it shows that you are aware, you are courageous, but you are on top. You're handling this, which is exactly what your leadership wants to see. Life happens, there's uncertainty, but your ability to own and to do something with whatever is thrown at you demonstrate the caliber of leader that you are. So I was talking real example of Sarah, who is behind the numbers. Yeah, the three things I say: don't hide, communicate the real thing, have a plan, because it's good for you. It shows, it helps to build trust between you and leadership, but also you and your team. So the example, the cases I wanted to share, Sarah is the person who had a maternity leave and someone who took a sick leave. She didn't know, well, for the maternity leave, maybe some hints, but she didn't know that the sick leave will also be added to it. So in couple weeks, she lost like two people, but the number of claim thing her team had to treat in wasn't reduced because of that. So as we work together, I share the same strategy. Communicate the situation, communicate the real numbers, but attached to the fact that you're behind the number. What is your strategy to tackle the situation? And in the case of Sarah, she communicated the gap to her team, but she also told them how, in the process of preparing for the mat leave, she had been developing the person who was working with one of the team that left. So she helped, she communicated to the team that there was someone growing on that, and she also had hired a contractor. So there was like two people that were to come in to join the person, and it will be three people, even though there will be some lag in a month or two. But when we put it over the 6 months, she will be able to catch up with the number of claims she had to treat. The fact that she communicated clearly, she didn't try to hide. This is the situation. The numbers are behind. What is behind is a reduction of manpower. And this is how we are addressing the manpower situation. We are hiring two contractors, and this is how they're trained. This is what will happen in the next week. She communicated with confidence. She showed the real thing, so her leadership will not discover things behind her back. She kept it real, true, with a plan. And as a consequence, she kept the trust of her senior leadership team, and they're doing well. The second case I wanted to share is the case of the person we will call Mario. Mario also had a situation. He leads a team of salespeople. Sales, they are the people responsible to make money. So the case of Mario was a more complicated one, because at the end of 2025, someone on his team got a poor performance review. The person is not a poor seller. The person is great, but they had some other ethical and the behavior kind of feedback that caused them not to get the bonus. So they felt frustrated with the way the organization rated them. And as a consequence, since January, performance was going down, finally ending in the person choosing to take undetermined sick leave. So they will be sick, one cannot tell till when. And this is someone who was doing great. So their numbers were actually good. If not for the behavioral concern, they were among the top performers. So Mario didn't see this coming, but it clearly is affecting his number 6 weeks into the year. He could feel it. The team could feel it. Again, with Mario, the same thing. You communicate, you don't hide. Numbers are not great. This is what is happening. Um, and this is the plan to handle the person who is on sick leave. They are on sick leave, so they've not left the organization. They would continue to be paid, but we still need to find a way. So for Mario, in our coaching, they finally decided to own that Q1 would not be as successful as they had planned it to be. But the plan to bring things back up by July was to invest more coaching time on some junior people who joined the team last year and who were showing some very promising results. So he worked into a plan to devote more time to them, to track their numbers, to bring them up. And because he presented to his leadership with, this is the real situation, this is the plan, this is how I'm going to track and communicate the progress, Mario is in a better place. He's not carrying his head as you can see in the picture. And also, he still has the trust of his leadership. So, I wanted to share these two examples to show that even if so far in the year you are behind the numbers, one, don't give up on the quarter. Some things are still possible. Think about the 5 ways to report progress. Think about what is your action plan to course correct. You saw their example. I'm going to open again and bring the slide that shows the value because sometimes I'll hear in coaching, why would I do that, Judith? Because I may lose the confidence of my leadership team. No, at the contrary, saying the real thing. Because you are the leader, maybe they know people on your team. If you don't share the real thing, if you make up stories, if you make up number, if you cook your numbers, as they say, in a way or another, your senior leadership team may know. They will know. And is this who you want to be? The leader who cooks the number, who makes up things. And even if you make up thing at the external, at the core, if it's not solely, if it's not the real thing, one day or another, it will show. Is this the leader you want to be? My recommendation, that's why I said, don't hide. Communicate the real thing with a plan to course correct. So this is what I had planned for us today in the executive protocol. And again, I don't know where you are with your numbers so far in the year. I hope you are in a good place and that your numbers are showing great progress, that you are aligned to achieve a great quarter. If it's the case, good job. Reflect on what you're doing to have these great numbers and keep them going. If at the contrary, yeah, Judith, I have a gap, I have a delta. In this video, you learn 5 other ways besides the number. What else can I use to show the progress? That's one avenue. If there's a gap, looking through the numbers, what is still possible? Who do you know? Who can you lean on? Have you leveraged your leadership? Is there any feedback? What can you do to course correct? Because what leadership wants to see is that you are aware you're behind numbers, you have a plan, you are actioning your plan, and they will see some course correction coming. There was a question that someone asked Judith, in looking at the evidence, the numbers, the data being generated as we are in execution mode. I see some progress, but it is not related to the goal, to the focus of me and my team. What do I do with that? This is exactly what we'll be talking about next week. What do you do with the insight? There's value, it's rich. And how can you leverage this progress, this data, this evidence? You're creating something, even if it's not attached to the focus of the quarter. That's what we'll be talking about next week. What do you do with evidence of progress, with execution insight. How can you leverage, how can you turn that insight into action, into demonstration of progress? How can you create some alignment between what you're noticing and your goal, so that at the end of Q1, it's even more evidence of progress that you can show and tell. It's what we'll be talking about next week. If it's your first time here, you can subscribe to be notified when there's a new video, when there are resources being shared. You can follow us on social. If you are also watching this and you feel like, oh, I would love to be part of the next cohort, in the description box, you can see the link to apply. The next cohort is starting in April. If you like the video, or if you think there are some elements in the video that could help someone, hey, feel free to share. If you have a question that you've watched and you feel like, the video didn't address this specific aspect, please feel free to ask your question below the video. It will be a joy for me and my team to answer you. Until next time, it will be a joy for me to continue to share with you the progress of the people in the cohort, the learning they're getting that you can benefit and apply, and ways for you to ensure every 90 days you report progress with evidence on the goal that is yours. I'm Judith Glory, and it was a pleasure sharing the Executive Diary Week 6 with you.